Okay, so now that you have thought deeply about your why, you have examined who you are as a family and who you want to become, what matters to you. The focus of this section is really about remembering to keep your head in the long game. And this is where crafting a North Star for your family is so important because as you get into the day to day and all the things that you're trying to accomplish and all the chaos and all the things that can go wrong, it is so easy to get stuck in the nitty gritty and to have, one little thing go wrong and to feel like your whole world goes upside down. And so, what I find is that when you have your North Star written down. It's in words. You post it somewhere on the wall in your home or somewhere that you can have easy access to it. It becomes just like this little lifesaver that you can hang on to and focus on in those times of trouble. And so, like for me, I will sometimes, and it's funny, I'm saying it because it doesn't happen nearly as often anymore. But what used to happen was I would get to the end of a really hard day and just feel like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Nothing is going right. And maybe I'm doing my kids a disservice by having them here. And then I would look at our North Star and it would just calm everything down. It was just this visual reminder of why we're here, what our purpose is, and that whatever happened in that moment on that day, it was already time to put it in the past. It didn't matter because this big picture goal that we have, this big picture purpose, that was why we were here. That is why we're here. And that's really why I'm here today to talk to you about all of this because what has occurred to me just over the last year probably is that, we all have life stress and real things that keep us up at night. But what I have realized is that my kids and their future is not one of them anymore for me. I don't worry about them because as hard as things can feel from week to week in life, the things that are happening in our home with our kids, I know that the struggle is always a temporary one. I know that in the big picture, what we are doing, as hard as it can feel, it's the most important thing. And having them there and being able to work through things with them, that is the most important thing. And so I have my head now so deeply rooted in the long game that those small things don't bother me anymore because I know that they're temporary and I know that they are all just part of the process. And so I want to remind you of that as we work to craft your North Star for your family. I think that, this picture here is one of my favorites, and it's the quote that I wanted to write down is, it is one of my own that's just about homeschooling. It's not about the end product. It is about the process. It's not about who you want to become or what you want to become or graduation or any of those things. It's about who you are becoming. All of you in your family, not just your kids, but who you are becoming as the person who is leading the charge, who is taking responsibility for that day to day, who is doing the role modeling of how to figure out this, thing that we call life. It's all a process. And what I love about the picture that I'm sharing here is that I told you that the first few years of my homeschool, I was completely neglecting my own self care. And now this is like a silly little ritual that I have that I just love. I every morning I get out of bed and I pour myself a glass of water. And of course I love my coffee, but I don't let myself have the coffee until I've had the glass of water because I know how good the water is for me. And because I know how good it is for me, it tastes good in the morning. And I go outside in my bare feet and I walk around the grass like I was going to say like a crazy lady, but I guess that's how I feel sometimes. But you know what? It's that moment. It's like having that time to myself and just doing these little things that feel good. I walk around in my bare feet. I connect with the earth. I, you know, go and check out my garden, or I write in my journal, and or I go for a walk, listen to a podcast, and sometimes it takes getting out of that like real baby stage to be able to do that. I understand that. I'm here to let you know that that's coming. But you, I am becoming a better person through my own growth along this homeschooling journey. And I know that if you haven't been feeling that yet, I know that that's coming for you. So just keep all of that in mind. This is about who we are all becoming, and you're going to get there. We're all going to get there eventually, but keep your head in the long game. So, back when I listened to that first podcast, the Life Without School podcast, that morning that I told you I just sat down and started jamming and hammered out a bunch of things. This was my, DIY first version of the North Star for our family. And I showed it to Mike, and we added in that second part. And this is what has felt good for us the past couple of years. And that is literally, don't judge me, that is the tape that I use to stick it to the door. We have one of those inside doors, and that's just where it is. And it sits there and it feels good. And I'm happy to have other people come in and read it as well, because I think we all wonder, like, what do people think when they hear that we homeschool? What do they think happens here? Like, and so I think it's all of those things for me. But so I'm just going to take a minute to read you what we have for our family. So our North Star, which, is our purpose, our guiding light, is to prepare our kids for the future by helping them figure out who they are, what they want out of life, and how to become the best version of themselves. It is about them. And then also, we want to teach them how to be good people, how to think critically, and understand the world so that they can feel equipped for whatever the future brings. None of us obviously know what is coming. I mean, it's crazy to me just how different the world looks, even from when we started this 2 years ago. And I think just based on the rate of change that has taken place in the last 6 months to a year, AI did not even exist when I wrote this. Um, the future is going to be unrecognizable. Even in 10 years, the world is not going to be the same as it is now. And what makes me feel really good about this is that we are not interested in teaching our kids what all the other kids are learning right now. Memorizing facts and figures doesn't matter. What matters is that our kids need to figure out who they are, and they need skills that are going to help them to navigate what's coming. And so every night I can sleep well knowing that our purpose and what we're doing every day, that everything is aligned. And there is no better feeling than having your actions be aligned with your values. And so I know that this might be intimidating to sit here and just write this down by yourself for your family, especially if you're feeling a little pressed for time. So what I discovered with our friend ChatGPT is that there is a very quick way that you can do this but based on the work that you have already done. So you have done the work yourself. You have written down what matters to your family and who you are. And basically, what you can do now is take your answers from your earlier questions, plug those into ChatGPT. If you haven't done that before, I'll explain that to you now as well. But I'm going to show you now the ChatGPT version of what this North Star looks like for our family. And, it's a little embarrassing how much nicer it sounds, but I'm going to show you anyway. So here is the ChatGPT version of our North Star. And I'm kind of in love with it, but I left my DIY version up on the door. Scully Family North Star. We homeschool to live a life that feels true to us, where freedom, authenticity, adventure, and health shape our days. Our goal is to grow together through meaningful moments, shared passions, and cozy, inspired rhythms that reflect who we are. We want our home to feel like a breath of fresh air, even though it's pretty cluttered most of the time. Welcoming, relaxed, and full of heart. Success means raising children who know and love who they are, care for their well-being, and walk confidently in their own light. So, of course, I would love to take credit for writing that version of our North Star, but it is what it is. But what I want to encourage you to do now is whatever feels like the right thing for you. If you want to take some time and write your own DIY version, awesome. If you want to take your answers from your earlier questions, plug them into ChatGPT and check the box for right now, then I think that is what you should do. Because for me, what's important is to have a version done when you're finished this workshop. And then you can always refine it later, right? You can work through, you can share it with a partner, you can talk about it with your kids, you can create, 3 ChatGPT versions and pull from what feels best to you. But whatever you do, I encourage you to just do it now, get something down, and refine it later if you want to. But the most important thing is to just get a version done. So, with that in mind, these are the steps to do it in ChatGPT. And you know what? I am going to record myself doing it right now in ChatGPT so that you can see just how easy it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this straight out of my document, and then I'm going to plop it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to insert some quick answers. Okay, so hang tight. Here that comes. Okay, so if you haven't used ChatGPT before, it is pretty straightforward. You're just going to chatgpt.com. You might need to create a free account for yourself, and then a window is just going to open here. And if it doesn't, just click on New Chat, and then you're literally just dropping this into the prompt. I just copied and pasted it from the notes from the North Star section of the workshop. So it says create 2 to 4, and actually I'm going to change this to 5 just to get a little more variety. Okay, so create 5 2 to 4 sentence samples of a goal-oriented North Star for a homeschooling family who feels most connected when. So what you're going to do here is you're going to take your answers from task 2. Okay, task 2 had 4 questions, and you are just taking literally those 4 answers and plugging them in here along with your top 5 values. So it might take you a minute to just sort of organize that, but then you're just putting those answers straight into this. So it's not like ChatGPT is writing your North Star for you. You did the work. You did the part that makes this answer authentic to you and your family. And now you're just using ChatGPT to help you to put this together a little faster. Okay? For those people who enjoy writing and who would enjoy this process, I encourage you to do it on your own. If it's not something that you enjoy and you're short on time and you want to get version 1 done, please go ahead and do it this way, guilt-free. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make up these answers for this pretend family. So we have a homeschooling family who feels most connected when experiencing new things together, whose best days look and feel I'm going to say relaxed and authentic, who would like others to feel. How do we want others to feel when spending time with us? We want them to feel energized, included, and safe. And whose parents will feel successful when their children have acquired a strong academic foundation, and they are rooted in their faith and community. Okay. And whose values include, let's see, trust, faith, adventure, curiosity, and wisdom. No. All right. And then you click the arrow and you wait for the magic to happen. Let's see. Okay, so here's our first sample. Our North Star is to create a home where learning is fueled by curiosity and adventure, where new experiences deepen our faith, strengthen our foundation, and keep us laughing along the way. We want our children to grow with both academic confidence and a strong sense of belonging in their community. Together, we will model trust, authenticity, and joy so others feel welcomed and energized in our presence. Isn't that lovely? So the other samples will be just different versions of that. And I encourage you to just have some fun with it. Read through them, highlight or copy paste the things that really stand out for you as, resonating deeply and sounding a lot like your family. And just put together a quick version 1 of this North Star for your family so that you have something to build off of and just a starting place. And if it feels really good, stick with it. And if it doesn't, or as you change, just start to modify it to fit the people that you are becoming. Okay? Easy peasy.